everybody to Studio Sessions BlockEight, Wednesday evening, 17th of February 2021, and it's a great night. Lots of great things happening. Bitcoin all-time high again. You know, we passed 51,000. As Pedro said, his first Bitcoin that he bought for $70 was far from $51,000. So we're having fun. Great having you guys here. Everyone looking at watching the recording. And tonight we are really privileged to have Umar back again, and we've got some discussion to do on AQUA. As you guys know, Umar is the lead on the project on AQUA, and just the other day, Umar and I were just in a competition. We met it in the competition for XIO. We never even thought there was an AQUA, and there wasn't an AQUA plan then, and now look what's happening. So things move really quickly in the crypto space, that is for sure. Umar, before I get you to say hi, I'm actually just going to share my screen and just start our space off with this amazing intro.
This is what it is, okay? I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
I think I've seen that about 100 times. I'm not sure. I've seen it a lot of times. That's just so amazing. Yeah, if that is a pointer to what the project's going to be like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Well, from your side, how are things going with AQUA?
Hey, yeah. So AQUA's going quite well at the moment. There's still quite a few questions that we want to ask the community. So, for example, we have at the moment the protocol features, what the community thinks we should be building on. But the goal here really is to get as much feedback from the community as possible, and try to implement that. In terms of development, it's going pretty well. I think the AQUA primary contract is completed now. There's a few modifications we're going to have to make depending on how we are planning to do the premium calculation. Yeah, we'll talk about that question specifically later on. But overall, it's going well. I think we started development on the Uniswap section and the Sushiswap section of the smart contracts. That's all going really well. We're on track with that. And in terms of the front end, it's looking pretty good so far. So we pretty much have the front end in place already now, in terms of the designs and clicking the buttons, things like that. The only thing that's left now is integrating the front end with the back end, and obviously those minor tweaks that we're going to have to make, like what the premium calculation will look like whether or not we should pay additional premium to block zero projects if there's any yield earning tokens, for example. There's still quite a few questions left. I don't want to mention them all here right now because I want it to be a surprise when it does come up. But one thing I will hint at is one of the questions in the future will be about the circulating supply and whether or not we should keep that as is or maybe scale it down or up. But yeah, overall, very good. I'm feeling pretty positive about it so far.
Nice. Fantastic. That's great to have that update. And also welcome to Lioness that's just joined us. We'll get into those little questions that you had on the proposals just now. I just want to go back to what you said on the back end and the front end. We're obviously really excited to see what it's going to look like. I think it's very different from the previous, block zero XIO type designs. We're really interested to see what this is going to be like. If it's anything like the video, it's going to be amazing. So that's good. The one question that I want to ask on that whole thing back in front end is that, is there going to be a test session or test net plan for this, or testing the dApp like we did with the Flash?
So that's something that we recently debated in the meeting on Monday, whether or not we should have some sort of testnet version the biggest problem right now is the tight deadlines. So as you can imagine, we only have another 4 or 5 weeks until the expected launch date. Saying that, we don't really, we don't want to launch a unfinished product, something that's, half baked. We want to make sure it's done correctly. So at the moment, I'm leaning towards having a testnet for this to, test it out properly before we go for an audit, or maybe alongside. So to be determined, but likely yes.
Yeah, look, if you think how many bugs we had in that first few sessions, we had the competition in the previous one, we had so many things crashing, and I think especially when the volume came in right before the close of a competition session, right at the beginning, and when it really stretched the protocol, it would be great to have the test. I think we all feel a little bit more at ease if there was a test this session.
Yeah, that's exactly the same way that I'm leaning towards as well. We want something usable, something finished, like polished, before we release that onto the main net. So that is likely what we're going to end up doing. Obviously, biggest issue right now is the time frame. So if we manage to finish development, let's say mid-March, we would have to do an audit. An audit by itself would minimum take like a week. And then if we're planning to have some sort of testnet competition like we did for Flashstake, it really depends on how many rounds we'd be doing that, how long that would be. As it stands right now, we pretty much only have a week at the very most to spare. So it could be that come launch date, it's when the testnet version launches, maybe. But none of this has been decided yet. But I am leaning towards having a testnet version to fully test that out.
Going to the technicals a little bit on those questions that you posted on the social forum. And for everyone that doesn't know, please go to the XO social page, to the webpage, to the forum.blockzerolabs.io. And you can have a look at the questions asked there by Umar. And I'm going to share my screen and just show it to us quickly and just talk through them and in a second, Umar. Okay, so Umar asked a few questions there. We want feedback on potential options for the premium calculation, and the static rate option, the shared basket option, the dynamic rate option, and the hybrid option. I personally went for the hybrid option, when I did the one there. And then the second question that you have down the bottom there is incentivize Block Zero Labs project. Should liquidity earning tokens created by Block Zero Labs earn an additional premium? So I think it's great questions to ask. And do you want to quickly screen through those options and what the response has been?
Yeah, sure. So let me quickly go through that, I guess. So the first option would be the static rate. This is very, very basic. The way this would work is we essentially have a white list of tokens, token addresses like LP tokens, and we'd have the premium rates. And we could set these premiums as and when we would like, basically. So, with phase one of the launch, there's not going to be much in the way of governance, like decentralized governance. So in this case, this would just be something that the foundation could update. But when it comes to the second phase, this would be something that you could vote on in a decentralized way and then update the static rates if we were to go with this option. This is obviously the easiest option out of all of them because there's really not much development needed at all. And I think we already have this static rate at the moment. It's not much dev effort needed here whatsoever.
Yeah.
So the second option is a shared basket. So this is it took quite a lot of time to put all of this together, but the shared basket is basically if you imagine every day or every week, there's a certain amount of AQUA tokens that are available. So let's say, every week there's 1 million tokens that are up for grabs. Now, depending on how many fees each LP earned in the AQUA protocol, that's how the 1 million tokens would be proportionally divvied up across everyone providing liquidity. So the example I gave here was if there's 100,000 tokens available for one day, and there are two stakers, one who's earned 70% of the total fees, the other who's earned the remainder 30%. And the first staker will receive 30,000 tokens for that week. And the second will receive the first will receive 70,000, the second will receive 30,000. This is basically like a running total almost. So each week this just continues. There's a static amount of AQUA tokens that are available up for grabs. And then when it comes to you withdrawing, that's when you get paid all of those AQUA tokens. So it's almost like a running total that's been going on a weekly basis, and then that gets paid out to you basically.
Okay.
So in terms of dev effort, this is somewhat complicated, but you know, it's easier than the hybrid method or the dynamic rate anyway. It's the easier of the four. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
So the third option here is the dynamic rate. So this would be very similar to how Flashstake works at the moment with the FPY. So I think the FPY at the moment, don't remember the formula off the top of my head, but it's basically something like total supply divided by, total stake divided by total supply.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's basically dynamic. So as the protocol is used less, the rewards are higher. It always incentivizes people to use the protocol more to a degree.
Correct.
And obviously it's up to the market to find out where that sweet spot is basically. Now, the biggest problem with this one, so I am quite a fan of this option, but this is probably one of the more challenging choices we have here, because not from a development perspective per se, it's more which metric would you use to determine whether or not the AQUA protocol is being used, is being overutilized or underutilized? That's the biggest question here. An idea that I threw out here was potentially using some sort of, you know, moving average maybe. So you could look at how many tokens were earned, say over the last 7 days, and based off that, you know, you would be awarding the tokens proportionally. That's just one way, but you know, dynamic rate could be any other way as well. You know, completely open to feedback here. And then the final one, which I'm also a fan of, is the 1 second.
Yeah.
So the final one is the hybrid choice. So this one's a little more complicated to explain. So I'm going to try and just kind of stick to what I've written here. You'd basically you'd want the staker to stake some amount of AQUA in order to unlock higher tiers of APY. So what this means is, so imagine you're staking a liquidity token initially. Let's say based on some logic, you're going to get 10% premium on that. Okay. Now, in order for you to get more of a premium on that, to increase that percentage, you'd have to stake some AQUA tokens. So this would basically be an incentive for people to hold AQUA. So in the example that I've given here, this is completely out of Steve's brain, by the way. You know, full credit goes to Steve. Pretty good when it comes to systems like these. So so with the approach that I've outlined here, it would basically be if you own, say, 0.01% of all of the AQUA tokens, then, you know, instead of getting 10%, you'd get 25%. Or, you know, if you own 0.001%, you'd get a lower rate, and that basically just continues going down. Yeah, this one's kind of complicated to explain compared to the other ones. You know, I think maybe with some marketing, this probably won't be much of an issue, you know, with some charts that explain exactly how this works. But this is the one that I'm leaning towards at the moment is, yeah.
Just a question from my side. But it definitely links to the not the number of AQUA that you were earning through the last few months, but the actual number of AQUA that you're willing to stake in the protocol. That's what's important.
Exactly. So imagine you have a smart contract. You actually have to put your AQUA, in there. You're staking these AQUA tokens. That's the only way you would get this increased rate.
Yeah. I think, you might say it's difficult to explain, but it's something that the crypto community is very familiar with. The crypto community understands the fact that if you stake, you earn something, and they understand if you stake more, you earn more. And if there's so it's not something that is too foreign. I think a lot of projects are doing that. So I think it's something that that might go down quite well. I personally really like it. I like it a lot.
Well, I mean, that's really good to hear. I don't really follow any other projects like yield farming or all of these other ones where you get you stake. So I don't really know what people are used to, but it seems like that's the method that everyone in the forum is leaning towards at the moment. I haven't been through it in detail yet, but I quickly had an overview, had a look to see what people prefer.
If you just take as an example, obviously UTrust that I know really well, their Hold app that they've got, the nice thing is they involve, staking is not only just for the rich and famous. That's what the tier structure really gives you the opportunity to do. So their tier 1 staking is only 1,000 UTK. And at 40 cents each, 1,000 UTK is not a lot of money. For most people, that's sort of affordable. So you can be involved in tier 1 staking because you only need 1,000. And on the AMA the other day, the owner, Nuno Correa, said, we will still have to ask the community what would tier 2 be, because tier 2 would maybe be then 5,000 or 3,000. If you look at things like Polka Starter and those things, you have to have 1,000 or 3,000 Polka Starter just to be into the new projects, which is a little difficult because a lot of people who's going to be able to afford that. And tier staking, I think, is great because the community understands that you can at least get into the lower tiers if you don't have a lot and still benefit, which is, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, based on the numbers that I've been looking at here, owning 0.01% of the supply, it isn't too much really. Like I think if you were holding around 40,000, 50,000 XIO in total, you basically come out with 0.01% of the AQUA tokens. But even then, it could go down by a factor of 10, and you'd be earning 20% in this case. But one thing I do want to say here for anyone watching and for you guys that are here at the moment, none of this is set in stone. Like we're more than happy to take suggestions here. It doesn't even have to be, these numbers can be changed completely. That's one thing that I haven't seen much on the forums. Usually it's, I agree with this method, but really you can agree with the method and maybe even give a suggestion as to modifications that you think might be needed.
Yeah, I think that's, and just to emphasize again for everybody, if you go to the website, the Block Zero, the forum.blockzerolabs.io, and to the social forum, there's a lot of things that we discuss there. Everyone's open to give opinions. It's very valuable opinions. If you just look at this, this is just 14 hours ago, 31 already done. All the citizens give comments. It's very valuable and all get read, all get commented on. I think it's a great way to get citizen involvement. For those who haven't seen the Block Zero website, this is blockzerolabs.io. This is the main website. You can click on Become a Citizen and register as a citizen with your Ethereum address. Everything on startups, on what XIO is about, how the new tokens come about. If you scroll down, you can see all the, a lot of the team all over the world, a lot of us, little pictures there, and then just what the whole thing is, what everything's about, what Flash is, what AQUA is, Clover, possible tokens for the future. Really great to have a look. And then also our videos of around the block, the Citizen of the Week videos on YouTube. We have a Citizen of the Week. Those guys that are willing to go onto camera with me, we always have a little short little session. So really great to have a look at the website. And then this is like the teaser site for you guys, Umar. Is this where you are with the AQUA site?
Well, before we move on, one thing I do want to mention about the social forum is by posting in this thread, you're also earning credits, which means you could earn up to, I think the cap right now is $1,000 based on your contributions in this forum. So for those of you who are just hearing about this now, highly recommend that you look up the XSI. So that's a social initiative, and you can access that from the Block Zero website.
Yeah, and you get a percentage, 2.5 or 5% or 10% of your actual XRO that you have. You get a percentage of that paid into the claims app every month between the 15th and 20th. And that's just like free money for you being rewarded for giving a contribution. Yeah,
your contribution helps us like towards the project, and also helps you.
Yeah, and that's how we started it, Umar. That's how we started, Pedro. That we started exactly that way.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that not 2 or 3 months ago we were up every 4 hours testing out that flash staking app. Now I would have never believed that I would have been able to become a project lead for the next project, to be honest. Yeah. Still not quite sure how that happened, but it's working out pretty well.
Many mysterious ways, and I think it's some of us have faith beliefs, some of us believe in different things, and I think it's generally it's out of our hands. It's favor that came to everyone's size, and I think that's where I love the way Dash approaches things and says, if someone comes to him and says, what can I do for you, can you pay me, he sort of just ignores them. But if someone goes and just does something, creates a scoreboard, makes a video, creates some content, and make some graphic design and just put it up there and put it out there. If it can be a contribution, by all means, we want it.
I think it shows your energy towards the project, rather than you just coming and saying, hey, I'm looking for a job, pay me. I feel like it's more, I care about this project. I took, time out of my own day to basically make the project better. And the fact that Dash, eventually onboards, citizens, I think that's an amazing way to get new people into the team.
Yeah, that really is awesome. Look, before anyone that wants to ask Umar a question, you're welcome to ask Umar a question, and anything on AQUA specifically. While you think, I just want to show you a quick little picture of what's happening in the background. You guys are all in the Zoom, you don't know what's happening. There's a little bit of surprise again. We're standing at 51,934, just about 52,000, unbelievable. Okay, any questions for Umar?
I don't think Peter Schiff is too happy about that.
Did you see his tweet about maybe Bitcoin reaching 100,000?
Yeah, I saw that, and then it was there's a chance it's just gonna go back down to zero, get into gold. Same narrative the whole time.
I think it's a big danger zone if Peter Schiff starts saying something like that. We need to start looking at ways to exit, because it's crazy if he starts saying we can go to 100,000.
Well, I mean, he sees that we could go to 100,000. I see that as a positive.
Yeah, I'm just joking. Any questions from anybody for Umar?
I think I have a view on whatever Umar had suggested that day on the social forum. I believe sometimes the simple ideas work the best. So there were 4 options suggested by Umar to the community, and I think option number 1 and 3 would be the simpler and the best options to implement at this time. If we go for a hybrid or a very complex model, probably we lose interest from the public. That is what my view is.
I think each one of these methods has their own advantages and disadvantages. So you mentioned you're a fan of the static rate and the dynamic rate. With the dynamic rate specifically, it's coming up with what that metric would be, and that could potentially take longer to implement and delay the project, compared to maybe one of the other options. But I understand it. I see your viewpoint there. Thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I have one question. How you guys are thinking about the people who are in XLP and probably would like to deposit the LP to the AQUA, but if you move your LP, you lost the XLP. So how you guys are dealing with that? You know.
Very good question.
Yeah. So that's not something that's been decided yet. But you know, that's really just the decision there is really whether or not we're going to allow the tokens to be used within AQUA. I mean, it's just a matter of whitelisting that address, and then you know we're good to go. Whether or not that happens, to be seen. I guess maybe make a post in a social forum, try to push for that, see what the community thinks. You know that's the way things get done around here. But no thoughts about that at the moment. It's not something that's really been on my list like at all.
Yeah.
But thank you for your question.
Pedro, I think you know, there's been such a huge incentive, and there's been a lot of funds invested from XIO to keep people in the XLP, and to, you know, they pay a lot of interest there, and you want people to have the loyalty to stay in the XLP, but also be able to, you know, to earn that. So I would definitely push for you know, the protocol allowing it and earning, you know, additional LP rewards. Why would you not?
Yeah, I mean, you know, my personal view on this is, you know, we should probably do that. You know, being in the XLP provides a lot of benefit to XIO because of the amount of liquidity that we have there. If you were to stake these tokens in the well, let me rephrase. If you were to aquify these tokens, you know, that liquidity would still be there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, exactly.
I look for, you know, I don't see any downfalls to it. Something that needs to be given more thought, maybe, but sounds good to me.
You can,
I asked in the chat, but then I didn't know if anyone could read it. I just wanted to be in a testnet if there is one for AQUA, because I think I could learn a lot more about it. I'm not really sure about it just now, so if I could be included, I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, your feedback during the flash staking competition was very valuable. I mean, it's likely this is going to be open for all of our citizens. You know, maybe we'll do it in batches. Again, this is not really something that's been decided, but you know, just thinking off the top of my head, due to these sort of time constraints, you know, if we were to have testnet, it'd probably be for like a week or two, and we'd want to get as many people in as possible. So yeah, welcome to join.
Okay,
All right. Thank you. The one thing that came to my head was thinking about the Steve proposed the match rewards for people who to increase the rewards for people who match the size of LP in Uniswap and in FlashDApp. Maybe if we use AQUA to do that, people should put the same amount of Uniswap LP and same amount and the same with Flash, and then they have the premium. You know, that would be.
Yeah, I could see that. So yeah, so I think Pedro, what you're referring to is the liquidity mining proposal that Steve put forward. So just for those of you who aren't aware, I think there was a proposal put forward by Steve, which basically said you would get paid Flash, so you'd be able to liquidity mine, and you'd get the highest amount of I guess call it yield, based on, you know, having equal amounts of liquidity in both the Flash DApp and the Uniswap, basically. But from an implementation point of view, yeah, I mean, that could work if you lock up both of your LP tokens there, and then we did snapshots of that would work. I don't think it's something that maybe we should like bake into the protocol, because that's making it a bit too specific, in my opinion. But it's definitely something that can be done.
Yeah.
But I think maybe that approach maybe got scrapped though. I'm not too sure what's happening with that, but I feel like maybe it was too complicated for you know, a new person entering, but there's a new liquidity proposal that's like a thread that's happening on the forums anyway. I think it's going to take 10,000 Flash tokens and basically pay it over over the next month and see how that goes, and you know, come up with some sort of success criteria, and then depending on how that goes, we could have a more long-term solution.
Umar, just a question from my side. You said, you talked about Uniswap and Sushiswap, and so are the plans to launch liquidity on both the dexes?
That's not something I gave much thought to, but we are looking to launch with Uniswap and Sushiswap. Uniswap for sure. I think Sushiswap really won't take much extra development at all, because there's really not any major changes between the two protocols. But yeah, I guess we would have to provide liquidity on both.
Yeah, so you would need liquidity, you would need ETH and AQUA liquidity on both of them to get them on.
I haven't thought about this much, but yeah, I would say so. The one thing I want to mention here is in terms of the price oracle, like how we get the price of AQUA and the other tokens, that will always be from Uniswap. We rely on people to arbitrage, basically. So if the price is different for a given token on Uniswap compared to Sushiswap, we'd still be paying out the same premium based on whatever the price is at Uniswap. So, but to answer your question, I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And the other question that I've got on that is also, well, while you're on price, to determine the price, you've got to set a rate when you provide liquidity. So you've got to set a rate that says this is the sort of starting rate of AQUA versus ETH to get the pool liquidity going.
Yeah, that's correct.
So that gets decided by the team.
Yeah, that would be decided by the team. Again, these are all questions that would probably be answered, you know, before the launch. But right now, the focus is just on getting that protocol up and going, up and running, basically.
Sure. And another question that I want to have on Uniswap, which is very interesting. Last time with Flash, we had a pre sort of launch announcement and said it would be on Uniswap that day. And obviously the bots had a field day with that because they're all new. We all know what happens with Uniswap. You know, as soon as you launch, the bots completely, you know, skyrocket the price, pump it, and, you know, get it as high as possible. I think Flash went to 90 cents, you know, within minutes, and then came all the way, crashed all the way down to you know, 20 or 15 cents. Is there anything in the plan for that eventually to say we're not going to announce the exact day on Uniswap, or are they again going to announce it?
I mean, again, no plans whatsoever. These are things that we haven't thought about yet. You know, we're focusing on the protocol at the moment, but if this is something that you want to raise as a social post, I mean, I would highly recommend it. You know, maybe we can get a discussion going, basically, and see what the community thinks. You can purchase XIO tokens right now for AQUA tokens. You know, there is that snapshot going on, and you know, that's probably the best way to get your hands on it. I personally wouldn't recommend buying tokens as they launch on Uniswap because of the bots. Like, you're never going to win against the bots. That's just my personal opinion. Maybe there's some sort of technique that I don't know about.
Yeah, so a very, very good point. And for everyone watching that doesn't know, if you have XIO on your Ethereum address at the moment, you can earn up to 50% of the number of XIO you can earn for the month of February, and that you will receive an AQUA. And the same and next month it will half, it will be 25% maximum, depending on if you're on the XLP or not. And you can actually earn AQUA all the way through for the rest of the year if you hold XIO in your ETH address. It might be very small at the end of the year, but you will still keep on earning it. And I agree with Umar, you're not going to buy something that you could earn, you know, that is just going to be, you know, someone else needs to buy.
Yeah, I mean, as it stands at the moment, that is something you can earn in high quantities. I would probably look into that if you're interested in the AQUA project. You know, if you're watching this right now, you know, as Dr. Luke mentioned, as each month goes on in the year of 2021, those rewards are just halvening, but they will be paid out until the end of the year.
I got 1,000 XIO the other day, and I'm waiting to put it in the XLP until the end of the month. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
you
correct.
don't necessarily have to wait until the end of the month.
Yeah, Umar, I think Umar is, so let me interrupt a little bit, Umar. The Lioness, Umar is 100% correct. You can add it any day, but you earn your 10% rewards on a monthly basis from the first of the month to the end of the month. So if you've got 1,000 XLP, I would actually add it to XIO. Sorry, if you've got XIO, I would add it to the XLP, because if you add it, you get the maximum reward of AQUA. If you have a portion in your ETH address that is not added, you'll receive a lower percentage of the AQUA tokens. So the sooner you, if you've got the ETH available, the sooner you can add it to the XLP, the better, definitely.
I will do it at the end of this session.
Well, I would recommend you look at the gas fees first. Normally it comes down a little bit later. You know what it's like, what the gas fees are like. But the gas fees are, there's a session from about I think 11 to 12 midnight UK time at 1 o'clock. That it's probably the cheapest in the day, 11 to 1 UK time to add it. Just wait maybe 2 hours, and if you can get away with a liquidity adding of a GWAI fees that are around 100, it's good. Don't pay 200, 300 GWAI for the, that's just ridiculous.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a look at the gas fees, and it seems like anywhere between like 1 a.m. UK time to like 6 a.m. UK time, those are usually the best times. But you should probably check that before you do that.
Yeah,
definitely. That's
definitely.
my insomnia work for a change, I suppose. So I'll be awake then.
Yeah.
One thing I'll add on to that. So the Claims app is different to how Uniswap works. So with Uniswap, I think there's like a 2-minute deadline. If your transaction isn't processed within 2 minutes, it will be reverted when it gets processed. With the Claims app, you could actually set the gas really low, and through the night, if the gas drops, it will get processed. So unless if you're not in a hurry, you could just set that up. One thing to keep in mind though is when you have a pending transaction, you can't execute future transactions until that one is done. Something to keep in mind.
I think that's something we've all learned a little bit over time, but that's a very good tip to understand, to everybody, to say that the actual transaction will be pending until the gas fees goes low enough. If the gas fees does not go as low, if you set it for 30 GWAI and it's not going to go there, then you're going to have to get rid of that transaction first before you can do another transaction. Okay, fantastic. I think that has been a great session, everybody. I think, Umar, thanks for your time. Really appreciate the effort coming on after with all the work and all the running around. And you still got your normal day job as well?
Yeah. I just I was in a meeting earlier for my day job. Finished literally 6:45. Had like a 15-minute break and then jumped straight onto here.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so yeah, we're looking forward to the actual launch and to the website being updated. People can come to the Block Zero website, have a look at what AQUA is at the AQUAFI site, at AQUAFI socials, all the links on Telegram, on Twitter, and you can see all the handles there. It's been really great having everybody there. Just all time's sake, have a quick look at the list for the night. We are at 52,231, and if you guys want to look at Ethereum, at the moment, live price for Ethereum also almost going really well there. Oh, there's a little bit of graphs there. 1,833, looking good.
Yeah, it's looking really good.
But anyway, everybody, thank you very much, all the way from Brazil, from London, from Scotland, from India, and the ones that I don't know, all the way here for me from Cape Town. It's been a wonderful session. Umar, thanks for your time. See you all next week, God willing, if we're there. Have a wonderful flash taking time. Enjoy the development of AQUA. We're really looking forward to this incredible project. It's going to be great. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thank you very
Bye.
much. Good night.
Bye-bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Be water, my friend.